Endless Fantasy Tactics is a 40mm skirmish game. It's played on a 1" by 1" grid. It's similar to some of the Japanese tactics games from the mid-90s. Every model in Endless Fantasy Tactics has a corresponding stat card. Each stat card has a point cost, their name, the stat line, and then basic abilities and hit points and MP. The stats are attack, you use that for melee attacks, ranged attacks, defense, which is how you defend against those attacks. The magic stat is used for magic attacks and magic defense. The movement stat is used by players to determine initiative in the game, as well as how many squares a model can move in a single activation. Jump is how many levels up or down a model can go without issue. If you try to go up too high, you can't and you stop short. If you go down too far, you fall and you take some damage. And then it wouldn't be a little tactical skirmish game without items, so every model has an item stat that determines how many items that they can carry. Currently at the convention, we have a convention exclusive card, item card that people can use just to kind of give a feel of it. It's our penultimate weapon. It looks very large and powerful, but it's just kind of fun. So items can be bought by models, and all models have a set number of abilities on the back. A two crystal model, which is what most of our models are, have 10 abilities to choose from, and they can choose 4 in a game. There's MP commands, there's regular commands that don't cost anything, and then passives, which have these little hand symbols. Passives are always in effect, and models always have them going on, and they can't be taken away. So to start, players will create an initiative order using their models. So right now, I'm going to have an initiative using my 3 little monsters over here. I'm going to have my gunsmith, my gel, and my earth troll. And the players are free to create whatever initiative order they want. Once the initiative order is set, both players will take a number of dice equal to their movement stat of their first model. So my first model is the Dwarven Gunsmith with a movement of 5, so I will have 5 dice. So both players will roll off, so I'm going to roll my dice, and I'm looking for a success, which in Endless is a 4, 5, or a 6. So I have no successes from these 4, but I do have a 6, so I currently have 1 success. The opposing player, or the other player, will then take a number of dice equal to their movement value. So our thief over there is very quick, very nimble and agile, so she's going to roll 5 dice as well, and she's got 3 successes. So that player will get to go first. Endless Fantasy Tactics uses an alternating activation through that initiative order that you set up at the beginning of the game. So the thief will go first, and when the thief is finished, my gunsmith will then get to go. And it goes back and forth until one player has no models left to activate, at which point his opponent can activate any that he has left. And once you're done, you start a new turn. So our thief is going to start off first. She's got a movement of 5, so we're going to try to move her really close. So we're going to move her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you try to take out this dwarf. So, number of abilities on the back. Card sleeves work great for picking out the abilities that models have. So right now my thief has a dagger attack with a range of 4. So she's going to count out the squares, 1, 2, 3, 4. So she is going to roll a number of attack dice equal to her attack stat against the dwarf's defense. So the thief has an attack of 4. And I'm looking for a 4, 5, or a 6. Unfortunately, I do not have any of these, but the dwarf still has to roll his defense of 3. So the dwarf's got his pretty pink dice over here, and he's looking for a 5 and a 6, and he gets 1 success. So if the thief had hit, I would have blocked that attack. Then comes back over to my gunsmith. My gunsmith is a little fast dwarf. You know, dwarves are natural born sprinters. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's going to turn. All right, he'll back up one more just to make sure. He's got a special ability called Blast Gun. It's a passive ability. It changes his normal weapon to Scattergun. So he hits with a cone of 2. So he's going to come out for that first square, and then in the second square will be 3. Just catching that thief. So the dwarf will roll his attack of 3, looking for 4s, 5s, and 6s. I'll roll that one. And I've got 1 success. And then our very agile and nimble thief will roll her defense of 4, looking again for 5s and 6s. And I rolled 2 6s. So the dwarf's scattergun blasts, the sound rockets off the cavern walls, but nothing happens. Next up, the archer will go through. She's just going to kind of come. She's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to get closer to that gel, who's 5 squares away, and I will roll her attack of 4. My little gel wizard, not a whole lot to him. He's just a little minion, so he only has a defense of 1. So the gel will roll his defense. He's looking again, 5 or 6. I roll a 2, and the archer is looking for a 3 or for a 4, 5, or 6. I've got 3 successes to the gel's none. The gel will take 3 hit points worth of damage, 1 point per success. Then my gel, who's next in my initiative order, will move forward 3. He'll go 1, 2, 3. And he's going to cast his little spells. He's got, the gel wizard's got that little staff. He thinks he's a wizard, so might as well let him be one. I've got a magic stat of 4 for him, so I'm going to roll 4 attack dice, or 4 magic dice to cast my spell. And my archer has a defense, or a magic stat of 2. So I only get to roll 2 dice in the turn. So the gel will roll and is looking for, again, 4, 5, or a 6, and the archer is looking for a 5 and a 6 and rolls 2 6s. Apparently it is not our gel wizard's day. The pugilist, she's a favorite model of mine. She's a brawler. She likes to get in there and punch things. So she's going to look, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares away. So she's going to move forward 5 squares, and then she has an ability called Flying Kick. It's an attack 1, it's a line of 2, so it's 2 squares right in front of her, and it's an ability called Follow Through. So if she hits a model, she just keeps on going to the end. So I've got my Flying Kick, so I go 1, 2, and I'm going to come out the other end. I will get my attack of 3, because my pugilist, while she likes her basic punches, she's not all that great at her flying kicks. And the Earth Troll, because he's built like a rock, has a defense of 6. So he's going to roll, and I've got 2 successes, and the pugilist is looking for a 4, 5, or 6, and manages to roll straight ones. Now that we've completed a turn, we can switch 1 model in our initiative order 1 space, and we start again, using the first model's movement value to roll for initiative. And that is how Endless Fantasy Tactics is played. Well, it's very basic, very simple.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I hope that was okay.